Okay, everybody, you're probably wondering why I'm the one doing the talking today instead of Mr. Johnson here. We kind of flipped the script, and we decided it'd be fun for him to be the one to get interviewed instead of everybody else like he has been doing. So, Josh, let's get it started today by telling us a little bit about yourself and your collecting background and what led you to do Cardboard Chronicles.
Sure. Yeah, my name's Josh. 30 years old, married, one kid. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Um, I started collecting when I was about, I don't know, probably like 9 or 10, like most kids. I really wasn't into collecting that much as a kid. I was more just like a basketball fan and a big Suns fan, being in Arizona, a Penny Hardaway fan. He was just hugely popular back when I was a kid. I had my whole room was Anthony Hardaway, like posters, lockers, everything. I had tons of Penny Hardaway, and the only like this is the nicest card that I had as a kid. And this is hoops, it's probably like a $2 card or whatever, but it was probably like $10 when I was a kid, and I thought that was expensive back then. So that just shows
Sure.
you like how low end I was back then. Um, So then I also collected Pokemon cards as a kid. I collected a little bit more seriously than I did basketball, just because like the collectability of it and the playability. Playing the game was a lot of fun. A lot of kids in my neighborhood played it, so we did a lot of Pokemon. And then so that's actually what got me back. Oddly enough, when Pokemon Go came out, about was it like 2 years now? I guess the game's been out for a while. When that game came out, a bunch of guys at work played and tried to get me to play, and I avoided it for a while because I'm not a big gamer, but I ended up starting to play and then just got hooked on the nostalgia of the game. And then I got it back into, I started looking at, I found my old cards. That's what it was. My brother and I, we found our old Pokemon set at my mom's house, and I was just hooked to like finish the set. I'm not a big collector in general, but I do like completing things. I'm a completionist at heart, so I wanted to complete the set, and that was really quick. The base set for Pokemon is pretty cheap, so I completed that within a week, and then it was like, all right, time to upgrade to first edition. If you know anything about Pokemon, there's like the regular, and then there's first edition. So I started down that trail, and that took a few months, and then I started looking at basketball cards just kind of randomly, and as you know, Michael, it just sort of like snowballs. Started low end, picked up some fun stuff, picked up some Penny Hardaway, picked up some LeBron stuff, and then it started really getting, picking up pretty heavily after that, picking up higher end stuff. And I still do collect Pokemon a little bit, but it's mostly basketball cards right now. I did recently acquire, if there's any Pokemon nerds out there, this is, the most popular one. This is about as good as it gets for Pokemon. So I completed my set of what I initially set out to do before I got into basketball. I finally finished the whole first edition set of Pokemon that I was after, and then so now I'm basically done with that. There's not really anything else I'm chasing there. It's mostly focused on basketball right now.
Are you into the grading of those cards, the Pokemon cards?
I graded all the first edition holos. There's like 16 of the holographic ones from the original set. I have those all graded in. I have all eights except for like two cards, so I would like to get all eights. Those are way more condition sensitive than sports cards. The edges, the backs of the cards are all blue, and the cards are softer, and they're just like a cheaper paper, so they're super condition sensitive. So an eight is pretty mint for those cards. So other than that, I just have binders. I'm not big into grading Pokemon other than just the big ones.
So what led you to, obviously Penny Hardaway was there in Phoenix for a while where you're at. Is that really what got you started collecting him specifically?
No, I was big on him probably about 96 was probably when he started taking off like marketing wise. It was honestly just like the marketing of him was really well done at the time, and they marketed really well at kids, Little Penny and like the posters, and there was just a ton of marketing to him, and I just got hooked on that. When he came to Phoenix, I was really excited, being a Suns fan, but not as excited, as I would like to be, because he didn't come to the Suns he didn't come here because was a big time trade. It was more of, the injuries, and it's sort of like it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but having him here was exciting. And there was actually a game I went to when I was a kid, and he was like questionable to play. And then, back then I didn't have like live updates of whether he was going to play or not. So I didn't find out until they announced the starting lineups, and he actually started during the game. So I was freaking out. I was excited about that. But yeah, Penny was before the Suns. It just so happened that he came to my team, and after that, I sort of lost interest in. I had lost interest in cards by that time, so there wasn't. I wasn't like collecting Penny Hardaway Suns cards or anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, and he was kind of fat and slow Penny at that point in time too.
Yeah, I mean, you know this. I don't collect a ton of the Suns Penny stuff, mostly because like it just pains me to see like his sort of downward trend at that point. He definitely got fatter.
It did. One thing I was going to ask you on this, for sure is I remember when you first kind of got to collecting him, and you had a very specific goal in mind, was to only collect him wearing the pinstripe jersey, if I remember right.
Right.
So explain that to me, and because I thought you were crazy,
Yeah. I'm just really big. I'm just really particular about the looks of the cards, and even down to the details of what they're wearing on the cards, and like their poses on the cards, and really specifics about it. And the pinstripe Magic jersey is my favorite jersey of all time. Any sport, it's really not even close, honestly. And the Magic jerseys that they started wearing in the 98-99 season, I think they started wearing them. I mean, they still wore the pinstripes that year a little bit, or I don't know. They're just not as good. They're just like stupid looking jerseys. I think they're really tacky, and they just didn't do it for me. So like the pinstripe is 10 times as nice in my opinion. So it was like kind of me being hard-headed. Like I'm only going to collect pinstripes. I've since backed off on that just because of some of the really nice sets that he's in where he is wearing the newer jerseys. I've had to back off of that. Like 24 karat gold. I really want that card, and he's wearing the newer jersey. So. And I have some, like I have Duncan Go Nuts. I like that one. He's not wearing pinstripe. So I've definitely relaxed on that.
Yeah, that would be a tough challenge. That would be like me collecting Hill only in the teal jersey.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult to do.
Right.
So moving on to LeBron, I mean, is that more of an investment for you, or is that still collector Josh, involved with that?
No, LeBron is my favorite player of all time. Penny Hardaway is kind of the like nostalgic 90s favorite player of all time, but LeBron for me he's definitely my favorite. And I've watched him since his rookie year. I've followed him very closely. I've been a huge fan of his for a long time. My avatar at work is actually like just a picture of LeBron. So people are always like, "You're not what you look like," and that confuses a lot of people at work. But and I'll like defend him to the end, from people I talk to. Like I always stick up for LeBron. I've always just liked him personally. I think he's just a really great person. I think he does a lot for the community that goes unnoticed. He's a great family man. He hasn't gotten in any trouble. I think he says the right things politically at the right time. He is arrogant at times. I'll give him that. I will, give people that. But just the way he plays as well, it kind of like shows on the court for me. He's a very unselfish player. He's a great scorer when he needs to be. That game against the Celtics in Game 6 when they were down, like I always watch the YouTube video of that one just because like it has the video of him at the beginning where he just like, he's kind of doing like this death stare kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So he has that killer mentality as well. I like everything about him. And then, obviously he's turned into one of the greatest players of all time, as I've watched him, and it's just gotten more and more exciting.
So in regards to LeBron, I mean, in the card community, I mean, it's kind of hard to be, top dog in with some of those big collectors. But where do you see yourself fitting in, with LeBron collection, and maybe where you're heading with your collection?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm even more particular about what I collect from LeBron looks-wise, just because, I prefer the 90s stuff, design-wise and everything. So once you get into the newer stuff of LeBron, I don't like the designs as much. So I really focus on what, I like in LeBron cards, and I'm really not worried about what everyone, thinks I should have from LeBron, or what how I stack up against other LeBron collectors because I'm just gonna get crushed. There's too much money out there that I don't have the resources to be able to compete, and even if I did, I don't think I would care to compete. There's a lot of like rookie LeBrons that I don't really care for. Like his SPX auto, the horizontal one, it's got like the cut auto, the paper on it.
Yeah.
I don't really care to own that one. I have a lot of my favorite cards of his already, so I'm only chasing a few more that I just have to have, And after that, it'll kind of just be, picking oddball cards that I find, cheaper ones, like the one that I just bought from you, Michael. Like stuff like this is more fun for me. Like it's a cleaner card. It's, not nearly as expensive as Chrome, and it's him wearing like a Summer League jersey. It's kind of a different card. I like it a lot. So the LeBron stuff will be mostly because, the financial side of it is tough. So I will, find little niches here and there in what I collect. And an investment side of things from him, it's been nice. Obviously, I've done very well. Anyone that has bought him in the last couple of years has done really well financially, but I'm not interested in selling. So it's mostly just like like I said, finding my niche of what I want to find from him.
Yeah, yeah, he has become kind of an investment dream to a lot of people just because he continues to play at a high level. So
Yeah.
I mean, and like you said, he's a quality person, and it helps for sure.
Yeah,
Helps
I didn't even touch on like his consistency for me is huge. He's just like same stats every year, consistently high level. People don't give him enough credit for his scoring either. Like, he's not putting up 35 a night like some of these other guys, but he could. I mean, he's putting up such massive numbers across the board, and his points are still very high. He's still averaging, 28, 29, which is extremely high output for points. So he's just so consistent. And in 15 years, like you're watching Wade and Carmelo like totally break down from the same rookie year, and LeBron's like still just dominating. And it just shows, his work ethic and how much time he puts into it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Joshua, what you've only been back in the card community, for 2 or 3 years now, 3 years or so. What are you enjoying about the collecting cards now in the community? Just from a standpoint of social media and
Sure.
everything all with the community.
Yeah. I think if it wasn't for the community, I probably would have stopped by now, or I would have left by now. The community is what keeps me interested in it every day, and it's what keeps me coming back. Honestly, the card part of it, I came back pretty quiet, talking to some people here and there, just because I didn't know anybody, and just sort of like hermit collecting cards for the fun of it. And then that sort of gets old after a while. You sort of want to. For me, I just wanted to the big thing about hobbies for me is like finding something that I can relate to other people with. Obviously, that's like a big part of like human nature in general is finding people who agree with you and you can relate to, and especially cards. It's sort of like it's a very niche hobby, and it's kind of has an interesting thing, take to it. So finding people that have the same interest in that very specific thing is a lot of fun because we're literally like just collecting cardboard, rectangular pictures of basketball players. It's a very odd thing from the outside perspective. It's an odd thing, but for us, we don't, talking about it like you and me and Grant and everybody, we don't have that awkward barrier to get past. It's just a lot of fun to just talk about it. And I text way more with my card buddies than, my real friends, just because we have like a very strong common bond. We don't have to, there's no like BS we have to cut through. It's just like, just talk about cards, right? It's an easy thing to talk about, and it's a fun entry into the hobby.
Sure, I know a lot of collectors out there. They kind of hide the fact that they collect, from their coworkers and things like that. And so it's nice to not have to do that. I don't do that. They all know I collect, and
Yeah.
they think it's funny. But so that's what you like. But on the flip side, you've ran into some bad deals. You came across some other things. So what do you dislike about the hobby and some of the bad things to look out for out there?
Yeah. I don't have a lot that I dislike. Sometimes, stuff on blowout will piss me off, or people will rub me the wrong way. But it's really what you make of it and who you choose to interact with. Like if I find people like that, I really just don't even respond. Or like the LeBron Jordan stuff is honestly like I couldn't be more tired of that topic on blowout. I still don't understand why people are trying to compare the two. And I'm even the first one to say, like, overall, I think MJ is the better player, but that's pretty much where I end the conversation. It's really difficult to compare the two players both from their style of play and then the eras they played in. It's just really tough to compare them. So from my perspective, just enjoy both of them. I don't really understand why you would want to get into the negative side of those two guys. They're the two greatest players, from a popularity standpoint, skill-wise, like their draw into the sport. They're just such amazing talents that I just love to watch them. So that always annoys me. Once the season starts, those threads are going to start up again. And it's like, yes, Jordan was 6-0. Like those same arguments. It's like, man, we should just have like one thread where it's like, here are the stats. here's the like pros and cons of the arguments, and here they are. Just go read that. The fakes, obviously. The fake stuff has like hit me pretty hard. Obviously, if you followed this channel, you'd know some of those stories, and that's been tough, even to a point where I've thought about selling out all my Hardaway and just focusing on LeBron, just because the '90s stuff, like I sort of got nervous, like, hey, I've hit 2 fakes now, like it seems unlikely, but it's likely enough where I'm nervous at the odds and the possibility of it getting worse. But then as I've been able to, identify the fakes more and use the community to help me with that, like people like Brendan, that's been a lot better, and it's actually made it more enjoyable. It's made the hunt that much harder, and it's made, the attention to the detail of it that much more intense for me. So I've tried to like flip that into a positive. People don't like this one, but I just don't like Prism. I don't like it from the standpoint of how much attention it takes in the community overall. Like the cards are fine. I don't care for the million parallels of colors. I've talked about that before. I don't really care for that, but it's mostly the attention that it gets. When Prism comes out, Facebook is basically like a waste of my time. When I'm scrolling through like my Facebook groups and like looking for stuff to buy, it's all like 9.5 Prism stuff. Why anyone would want to buy a 9.5 Prism doesn't make sense to me. Like, they're all mint coming out of packs. Like, of course they're all 9.5s. It's crazy. There's so many of those cards, so overprinted that it just sort of like is a black hole of the hobby for me, and it just makes me frustrated, that it takes away from some of the other stuff. And I get it, it's more popular, it's the new stuff, it's got the rookies, I get all of that. Just mostly the sort of like I said, like the black hole of it bothers me. That was more negative things than I wanted to say, but I've tried to make some of those positive and, avoid the MJ LeBron stuff, but nothing too egregious, especially in terms of like the people I've met. I haven't met any, I haven't had any terrible run-ins with individuals. I've had, generally positive interactions with the community. So that's been enjoyable.
Yeah. Most people out there, they're just like you and I. They're just wanting to collect. It's just obviously there's a few bad apples out there, but most people they genuinely want to just have fun and get away from their normal lives with cards. So what cards are you looking for? LeBrons and pennies. What cards are kind of at the top of your want list?
So you don't know that I'm going to do this. I haven't told you yet because I wanted to see a reaction. But I have had a card at the top of my want list for probably like a year, man. It's been a long time. And I even obtained a fake of this card. I've had it. I've always wanted it. When I got the fake, I was even excited just because I didn't know it was fake. So, and then when I found out it was fake, I was so devastated. And I've just been like trying so hard to get one back. And I finally got one. I think I got it 2 days ago. So this is the
Bam
97-98. It's hard to get. I'm trying to get the shine in there from the light, but 97-98 Metal Universe Precious Metal Gems. This is like just a monster I'll show you the serial number there. I don't know if you can see that. 28 out
Kind
of
of
50.
28 to 50. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And this thing is 100% real. Like, I can just tell holding it. You know, I've gone over the logos, I've gone over the serial, the the coloring on the front. It's all legit. So I was really excited to finally pick that guy up. So that was just a big one off the list. After that, I got the rubies. I have a ton of stuff, man. Like a ton of stuff that I've wanted, and sometimes I'm like, if a big card comes across, I almost want to like say no just to like prolong this a little bit longer because I feel like I'm getting closer to hitting everything I've ever wanted, and I can't believe I'm really fortunate and lucky to have come across some of this stuff, and I'm lucky financially to be able to afford some of these things. So after this, it's kind of like I feel like everything else going forward is just kind of like a bonus at this point. I have everything that if I had stopped collecting today, I would be thrilled with what I ended up with. I would be proud to show my son what I have growing up. I feel really good about my collection right now. But most of the top stuff I want right now is Penny Hardaway stuff. Like I said, the LeBron stuff, my list is sort of random. But overall, my number one want is a LeBron card. It's 2000, I think it's 2005, 2006 Chirography Gold. I've told a lot of people about this card. I've spread it to the masses to help me find it. I've seen there was one on eBay like a year ago, and that was at the time where I was too chicken to bid what it took to get it. And I think it sold for like $1,700, and I would pay a lot more than that right now. So that's my number one overall card, which just happens to be LeBron. And if I get that, I'll really slow down on LeBron stuff just because like I have all the autos. Like I have the one I really wanted when I went to National, and I told you about this one was this guy. I freaking love this card, man. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's what's it? It's low number too, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, this one's 23, man.
23, yeah.
And I probably overpaid at National, but like overpaying for something that you want that badly is not a big deal to me. So this one and the gold auto were always my top two like non-rookie autos that I just wanted the most. So that's the LeBron one, and I do want his rookie refractor just base. I have a black refractor. I would like a standard one, regular refractor. What else do I want from LeBron? I was initially going after every silver refractor from his rookie year until Topps Chrome stopped, and the only things I'm missing are the silver of the rookie Topps Chrome and Bowman Chrome. Those are the only two I'm missing from that. I have all the Bowman, Topps, Finest, Chrome. I have all the refractors. So that was a fun chase. And I chased that at the perfect time. Those things have like really boomed since I started taking those.
They're incredible, especially the 0405. That one, it's insane.
Yeah, I love those cards. So for Penny, my top wants right now are PMG Green, obviously. I think everyone knows that I'm going for that one. That's my avatar on Instagram. Shout out to Nat for donating his cards. That was a huge thrill for me at National. Like anyone that saw me, like I think we went over and looked at him for a bit, but anyone that saw me like just holding the card was just, they could just see like the joy the joy in my face. And even like the guy at Golden was like, "Oh, you're back for like the fourth time." So the PMG Green would be huge. So if anyone has any leads on that one, let me know. 97, 98 Credentials Future. The Now is tough. I know Grant just landed one, so he's holding it for me, right, Grant? No, just kidding. He loves that card. 24 karat gold is a big one. 98, 99 jersey, which I have owned before and sold because I'm an idiot, right? So, what was the other one? Help me out here. You know what I'm missing?
I'm trying to think. You have all the rubies. You have platinum medallions. You have all those, right?
Yep.
I'm not sure what else. You don't have much left. You're getting down to.
Yeah, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. Oh, 96, 97 Legacy Row Zero. I know that one's gonna pop up eventually. There's 150 of those. Oh, Slam Bams. I don't have Slam Bams. Grand Finale. I don't have those. Those are big.
Good luck.
So the Warp Tech. I know that you and John are always trying to get me to be more excited about that card. It's the non-pinstripe, so it's like I'm not as excited about it. And then some of like the upper deck cards that you and I have been talking about recently. Some of like the 25 numbered ones, the 50. Those are tough. I haven't been willing to pay what they're going for. I really want a Super Rave. Can you help me? What's the deal with the Super Rave? I've wanted to talk about it. Like I was talking about it with a Penny guy last night, and like I've never even seen one. Is that even like a real thing?
So are you talking about the Z-Force Super Rave or Skybox Thunder Super
The
Rave?
Skybox Thunder.
The Skybox Thunder Super Rave is only numbered to 25. Yeah, the Rave is numbered to 150, and the Super Rave is numbered to 25. Those cards, for some reason, a lot of these cards that came out in 98, 99 during the lockout season, I don't know why. It's almost like they don't exist. And that is one of those sets that just you cannot find those cards.
Yep.
So yeah, if you see the Rave or Super Rave, you better jump on it because you'll probably never see another one.
Is there a Grant Hill of those two cards?
There is. I know. Theory. He's another big Grant Hill collector. He's got one of each. He's got the Rave and the Super Rave.
And you don't have either of them?
I have neither one of them. Nope.
Yeah, those are like almost like legendary at this point. It's just how like stupid hard they are to find, and they've been faked as well. I know. So
they have. Yep.
Those are tough, dude.
They are. So I hate to circle back to the PMG Championship, which you probably don't mind, but just how'd you get it? Like, you want to tell the story of how you got it, or?
I don't really want to tell the story right now, to be honest.
Okay.
The seller and I have been talking about possibly some other things, so I'm actually going to keep that one close to the vest. And if you ask Grant about that card, you just like those are. It's the only one I've ever seen that's real. He, loves the set. And he doesn't have one, so there's something about Penny Hardaway. He's just like really tough to find. Like I'm like really aggressive in looking for some of these cards, and I'm willing to pay more than market on a lot of these, and you just can't get them, which is what makes it so fun for me. Is like if I could easily get all these cards, like what's the fun in that? And there's no chase. Like I just buy them, right? So that's what makes the 90s so perfect for me. Is like the perfect mix of design and just the absolute scarcity and rarity of these cards is unreal. And they're just gonna I'm gonna be a black hole of Penny Hardaway. Like you're not gonna be able to get these from me. So once I have them in my PC, and I know a lot of other guys are the same way. So over time, it's just gonna get harder and harder. So that's why I'm so aggressive right now. That does remind me of this guy, the lottery prize.
Yeah, that tremendously difficult card to find.
So yeah, stupid rare cards. Like this is ones where other Penny guys have asked me like, this thing's like rarer than the rubies and the PMGs that you have. That card is so rare. I forget what we're talking about.
It's probably under 10 of them that exist, I would guess. I don't know exactly. It's similar to the Rack Pack Refractor for Hero, and those are just those extremely rare unnumbered cards that just never come up. It's crazy, some of those cards, how rare they are.
Yeah, totally.
So Josh, obviously you're doing the Cardboard Chronicles. You're doing this channel. And YouTube, what prompted you to want to turn in from collector to doing interviews and kind of sharing on YouTube?
Yeah, sure. So like I'm on Blowout a lot. I was on Blowout a lot, and I was on as many of the different social media sites as I could be on, just because I was sort of like looking for that. I was looking for the community and looking for more people I could relate to, and just like have a real yearning for that. And I just was never getting completely satisfied with. I was always wanting a little bit more from it, and I always thought there should have been like a nice podcast. Like I know Adam had a good podcast, and he unfortunately has stopped it. So stuff like that, I was just really digging for, and I think I even made a thread. Like, does anyone have any channels that they follow? Are there any podcasts out there? And another inspiration was I only follow I think I have 3 subscriptions on YouTube. I'm not a big YouTube watcher in general, but I do follow. His name is SM Pratt. He does similar content to what I'm doing. He doesn't interview, but it's very similar. He talks a lot about investing, and it's strictly Pokemon. and he does a fantastic job with that. If you're at all interested, yeah, check out his channel. It's incredible. So watching him a lot kind of got me, inspired to do my own thing. And the other side of it was like, my amount of like knowledge and content that I could provide was fairly limited. So I just figured like, hey, who knows more about, if I just start interviewing people, we're going to have almost infinite content. There's going to be people that like the 90s stuff like I do. There's going to be, younger collectors. There's going to be vintage. There's going to be modern. There's going to be everything, right? So it's really easy. Honestly, I just like hook up the mic and start asking questions. So it's been a lot of fun, and I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from it, which has, made me want to keep it going. And, having people like you on that I've, become closer friends with because of this has been exciting. It's helped me find more rare cards just because of the exposure. It's like, I can't think of anything negative about the channel so far. I honestly haven't gotten any negative comments, and that's not, that's not me bragging. That's just sort of me, showing you like how amazing the community overall is. And I feel like the channel, my goal for the channel was to shed light onto the people itself, and to show, how much fun this hobby can be, and how trying to get more people involved and like more, willing to speak about it, willing to show their cards more, and make it more of a community than it was, than I felt it was. So I feel like my goal has been reached on that. And at this point, I'm just anyone that wants to be on any level of collecting. I know some people have been shying away because, we've had some pretty, big time collections on, but honestly, some of the stories from the lower end stuff are just as exciting, especially for me. So, I don't want that to shy anyone away from the channel at all. I think people have asked me, and I literally just tell them like, I want to speak to everybody, even if, unless you're like coming on to just like scream at me or make it negative. Like other than that,
that might be kind of fun.
I have thought about, finding someone to like do an argument topic with, but we'll see if that ever materializes.
But Josh, you're right. It doesn't matter what somebody collects or anything. Get them on here. If it's low end, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've got a lot of high end stuff, but me, I've got tons of low end stuff. I go for everything. So
yeah, man.
It's I think people like myself, we appreciate all facets of collecting cards.
Sure. And everybody
Josh,
I had one other comment. Everybody that I bring on is like, nervous to come on, and then after they're done, they're like, "Man, that was fun. We just talk basketball cards." So I also wanted to put that out there that it ends up being a lot more fun than you think. And like I end up talking to everybody afterwards for a long time, and it just turns into like it's just a really great hour, and it's just a fun time. So that's been a nice bonus. I didn't think it'd be this much fun.
It is. Anybody who is considering doing it, I definitely recommend them to do it. So you asked me in my interview, you said, "What's the end game?" I'm going to ask you, what's your goals for collecting? Where are you headed? In the next 6 months, a year. What are you looking at doing?
I knew this question was coming, and I still don't have a good answer. Like I've thought about it for a day now, and I sort of asked you that question, thinking like, "Come on, dude, you should know the answer." Like I know mine, and then I really think about it, and it's like I have no idea. The end game, I guess, is to just have like I'm pretty competitive, so I guess my end game for Penny Hardaway is to have the best Penny Hardaway collection. It's partly competitive, partly like completionist, like you are. You want to have everything. So I would say that's definitely a goal of mine, to have the best Penny Hardaway collection. That would be something I would be proud of. What the best means, I guess. To me, it's the most diverse. Having all the cards, high end, low end, mid end. So it's more than just like having all the best high end cards. After that, I am pretty serious about the investing side of it. I've put a decent amount of money into this, and it is important to me to keep the investment side of it interesting and going. But I understand the market could completely tank, and I'm left with like no value at that point. That would stink, but I would still find joy in the cards themselves. So the end game, investment wise, is to still be smart about it. Not honestly at this point, like don't sell. So everything's doing so well. long term, 6 to 8, it's tough because I didn't think that I would get as much as I have within 2 years. So if I mathematically spread that out over like let's say 20 years, at that point like I'm really gonna run out of stuff that I'm interested in by some point. So I'm gonna have to get creative and maybe I'll start looking at boxes like you've done and start looking for more oddball stuff. Or maybe I've always thought about doing like Penny Hardaway and LeBron are very expensive players, and that's not like the money side of it doesn't matter as much to me when I'm looking for these cards. But it would be nice to like have a side PC of a guy that's not so freaking expensive. I've always wanted to do like a Steve Nash collection. Being a Suns guy, he's my favorite Suns player of all time. That would be fun. After that, I think I would probably go after some more just like iconic cards. Like 96, 97 Chrome Refractor Kobe. Maybe like a nice MJ card that I don't have, like a dual MJ Exquisite card. Go after some of the more iconic cards that it'd be cool to have in my PC that other people could recognize and see the what's the word, like the wow factor of the PC itself.
Yeah, it's kind of an iconic. Get those icon pieces that people certainly recognize.
Yeah, draw more people in. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'm very excited to like show off my collection, and I'm very active on Instagram. I like displaying my cards, and sometimes I worry that I'm too show offy with it, but I always encourage like other people, like show me what you got. I'm gonna love all of it. And then in the reverse, I love to show off what I have. It's a lot of fun. That's just like I told you, sitting at the table, the food court at the National was like probably my favorite part of the show. Just sitting there like showing off cards and stuff. So, man, that's a tough question. The long-term goal, I think it's just keep buying more cards and keep having fun and stay more involved in the community.
Yeah, I mean, I think people in general they want to show their cards and they want to see other people's cards. I mean, that's why we all get on social media and things like that, and watch shows like this. And I think as long as people's intentions are right and it's just to share, no problem there.
Sure.
I think everybody will agree with that. So give me at least one crazy story on how you picked up a card, or do you have any of those crazy stories? I mean, you asked me that, and I could go on for days, but I haven't heard any of your crazy stories. I want to hear one.
I can't remember if I told this one in the Grant video, but that one was one of my favorites. I'll actually get that card out. There was like a thread on Blowout about like what's your dream card, and it was like that was when I was still kind of new. So like the big high end cards were sort of like arm's reach for me. I felt like some of those cards I would never actually obtain, and I was sort of like hesitant to get involved, financially into that realm. So the dream card thread was sort of like, hey, this is kind of a fun, like, I'll never get this card, but I'll just post it. It'd be cool to own it. And it was I'll just show it now, 98.99 Precious Metal Gems, which to this day, this is my favorite Penny Hardaway card, mostly because of this story. So I posted, and I'm not even kidding you, within 10 minutes of posting my response in that thread, Grant Slayton texts me, because we had just talked about some other Penny Hardaway stuff. He's like, dude, dream card, you want it? I found it. Or, I've got a guy selling, you want it right now? And I was just sort of like, what? And it felt like, at that point, it felt like, it sort of felt like fate to where, I should be getting more involved in this kind of stuff. And it was just too perfect at the time. So I texted Grant like, yeah, get it, whatever you got to do. I'll find the money. And then the seller ended up being someone that I'm pretty close with now, another Penny Hardaway collector. So it was a really smooth deal. Honestly, I think I had the card within like 3 days of posting on the thread. It was just a ridiculous like turnaround. He had shipped it to Grant. Grant shipped it to me, and if you know Grant, he's just like, he loves helping other people with their PCs, and he knew that this is my dream card, so why not help me get it? And that was just a really fun story for me, and it sort of like catapulted me into my friendship with Grant, and also just like seeing how awesome the community could be. I hadn't ever been involved with something like that where someone had reached out and wanted to help that quickly and that like aggressively, and I thought that was just fantastic. And I try to do that as much as I can for other people. I'm always looking out for cards, You told me about that Penny Hardaway card, and I just like went looking for it and found it on Instagram, like, the next day. So stuff like that. I'm trying to think of come up with another question while I think of another story, and maybe I can tell something at the end.
Show us. Do you have any more cards to show us? While you're kind of thinking
I
about it.
do. Yep.
Cards always jog your memory a little bit when you see them.
That's true. You're right. I do have another story. So this one is actually my favorite overall basketball card, and not many people know this just because they assume, it's my. I'll show another one later. They assume some of my other cards, but this is actually my favorite basketball card of all time. It's 2005 Topps Finest LeBron Gold Refractor, numbered to 39. It just, to me, it's like the quintessential basketball card. It just has like everything about it. It's got like the refractor, it's got the over the top gold color, it's got the unique pattern, it's got an amazing action shot. The refractor is on the gold itself, which I hate the gold refractors where it's not on the gold. It's low numbered. It's from LeBron was younger at the time, so it's exciting to see that era of basketball. It's just, to me, it's just like the perfect card. So my buddy Nate, he's another big LeBron collector. We sort of have like a semi-competitive nature in obtaining LeBron cards, and this one was like, he knew this one was like my top one, but he was like, we were talking about like what we're gonna bid on it when it went up for auction, and he threw out a number, and I threw out a number that was just like way higher because I was sort of like borderline obsessed with getting this card. And Nate just, yeah, man, you're bidding higher. That makes sense. I don't want to drive up your price. You love this card. It's yours. And he's able to get one at a later date, so that was fun. I really, at the time, that was a special moment for me, getting that card. So that's another one. I'll show off the big ones, I guess. I have a stack. Like this guy I showed in the last video, the red PMG is very special to me, obviously. I have a big, actually I have a big pile of cards I'm going to send off grading tonight. I didn't send it till I'll send, I've been holding on to them because I was waiting for this video, but, the PMG Championship, the Rubies card, crack that one out because I'm going to do PSA, the lottery prize, the LeBron auto that I showed. I'll just go through quick. Oh, sorry. Season ticket auto, Penny Hardaway, obtained that one recently. This is just like a mint card that I think is a little gem, so I got a LeBron card. Penny Platinum Medallion, StarQuest Gold. These are really hard to find. I got that one at National. And then, let's see. I will show a modern card. I think I asked you about Revolution the last set. I think Revolution does a really nice job. Like, this one to me is just another one of those really cool basketball cards. It's got the cool clean auto, the refractor, the cubic pattern. It's numbered. I like this one. And then I'll show. This was actually the first card I ever spent more than $100 on, I think. So I was really nervous when I bought this. I just love I'm obviously a sucker for gold. This is the 97-98 Ultra Stars Gold. Love that one.
For a card that's won in 1,440 packs, insanely undervalued and certainly one of my favorites. So anytime anybody shows one, I love them.
Yep. I mean, obviously just because it's not serial numbered, it's not, as sought after, but that doesn't bother me. 97-98 game jersey. I'm still looking. I actually am looking for the the other the one where he's wearing the golf tee of this guy. So that's a sweet card. When I first got this one, I wasn't a big fan of the patches and the jersey cards, but this one was just next level. And then the last one, most people know I have this, but LeBron Ultimate. I've been saving it. I'd stopped collecting for a while just to save up for that because I felt that card was going to take off. And when I bought it at a pretty good price at the time. I think I bought it in February, and it's definitely taken off. So, good choice there to snatch that one up and get that one off the list. That's definitely my favorite LeBron rookie card. So got that one. I don't have anything else to show. That's a lot. So
yeah, I mean those are okay. To show.
They're fine. I've got my box back here. I've got some other stuff, but these are the most special ones to me, and some of my rarest and nicest ones.
I'll follow it up with one last question here. What does it feel, or how does it feel to complete that trio of PMGs, which might be the pinnacle? I mean, I know the green's on a different level. We all know that, and those are so hard to get. But getting that other three is huge, right?
Yep, it's fantastic. I'd also lump the rubies in there. I now have the three PMGs that I've always wanted in the 3 rubies, 97, 98 rubies, 97, 98 rubies team, and 98, 99 rubies, and then the PMG championship, the PMG red, and the 98, 99. It feels great. I mean, those are a lot of those. I've only seen one copy of all of them, so I have the one that I've seen, which is I'm very proud of that fact. So it's a really tough task. It took me 2 years of pretty aggressively seeking out those 6, especially like the last like 6 months to a year looking for those. It's great. I love all of them. Those are my 6 favorite Penny Hardaway cards. So
that's 6 pretty good ones to enjoy for sure.
Yep, for sure.
Man, that's all I've got for you, Josh.
One last thing.
All right, fire away.
I wanted to say thanks for. This was Michael's idea. I want to give him credit. He's like, dude, let's just do, I'll interview you. We'll do the reverse. You need a video. So I thought that was just a great idea, and I was really excited to, have you step up and do that. So I appreciate you doing this. You did a great job.
Oh, no problem. I think most of us out here that would be watching this video would say we appreciate you doing the YouTube channel. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Dude, we need to do the 90s roundtable. You ready for that one?
I'm ready. I'm always ready for that. Like Burleson said, I like to show off. We'll do it.
We'll just make it like a battle royale. We'll just like put all our cards in the middle, and
I'm down.
We gotta find a way to do it in person. I feel like that would be so epic if like the 4 of us could get into a room and just that'd be so epic.
It would be fun. Yeah, let's do it.
Vegas.
Let's do it. I'll throw at me if it
I'll do it. All right, man. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
See ya.